media space of YouTube or advantages of what you call it now, advertising and sponsorship. So I think moving forward, if many radio stations implement visual radio, I'm sure many of you would have still, with your talents, would have still probably still remained in that sphere. I'm just saying. Moving forward, that would be, I think, one of the best ways to move.
So you can take questions. So the thing is, when I first started, I talk about a particular song and then I play 20 seconds from that song, right? And then after a year and I think 2 weeks of doing that, my podcast was taken down for copyright. And that, in a way, got me very, very heartbroken. I'm not gonna lie. I cried, honestly speaking. I mean, but in the end, this is what I did, and this is what helped me. We talk about creativity, we talk about innovation, and we talk about knowing the rules, right? Again, like I said, because I was coming from a place of radio, I know what the rules are, and I already used the rules. So what I did was, which of these rules can I break to make myself better? Now you're telling me not to play music because I'm infringing on somebody else's property. How can I listen to the podcast? And that is where the creator of the energy force came into play. Because when you're radio, you're supposed to have a certain kind of personality. Remember, radio most often than not, we don't see, we listen, we hear, right? I'm sorry I'm going to be making reference to what you call maybe Video FM, because that's one of the radio stations I grew up listening to. And also AIL, Big Power, shout out to Ogakeke and Bimo, right? Shout out to JJ. Now, there was something about how they deliver their program that made me like the program, right? Talking about IK back then. You know, I listen to these people and I try to understand their personality and what they do. And I ask myself, okay, so now my content is about music, but they're asking me not to play music. How do I get you to listen to music? And I went back to the beginning when I was in university. I said 2009. How was I able to convince my friend to listen to a song? How do I tell you to watch a movie without actually paying you the movie? Right? And again, we talk about freedom of podcast, and that's the thing about podcast. I can decide to talk to you as a friend, as someone that we're in the same age bracket, without actually looking at who is there. So what I did was, you know what? I'm not going to talk to everybody listening to this podcast as if they are all seated in a panel right now. I'm going to talk to just my friend, Rafi. So I want to tell you about this song. But now we just released the new song. Wow, trust me, that song is so interesting. The beat, trust in the production of the beat. You know, if you're someone that like to dance, you dance very well when you see the beat. You see the lyrics, trust me, the lyrics, common person, you understand it perfectly, the situation of Nigeria. You know what? Go and listen to that song, come back and thank me. Now, what I have done, I have painted a visual in your head on how the song sound. Right? At times I can tell you, when I heard that song, the way the instrumental came into my head, oh my God! That expression alone allows you to be like, okay, I have to go and listen to this song. I have to. Right? So I don't need to play you the song before you go and listen to it. And he spoke about trust. Now, because I've been doing it for a year now, people now trust me to a point whereby still last week, because my podcast is on break, somebody said to me, there's this new song that came out, Save Me, from the soundtrack of Philemon. And somebody sent me a message, I am waiting for your review. The song is there, you can just go and pick it up and listen to it. You don't need my own review. But because they trust me, they know that I've been able to help them to navigate the edit of what song should I listen to? How does this song sound? Right? So they come to me and they say, this song, tell me what is your take, is what you say that I believe. So without, again, the song will come out new Friday, they have the whole day to listen to it, but no, they have to wait for what I have to say. And that's because I'm giving them a visual of what the song sounds like, and I've painted it in their mind. And again, I now tell them, if you are this kind of person, because there are some people that like slow music, there are some people that like fast music, there are some people that like, forgot music. I also now describe it to you. If you are a fan of people that you like pop music, then this Naramani's new song is the best thing for you. Trust me, you play this song all through the week and you will thank it. And most often than not, when you go listen to those music, my review are always on point. I would say because Super is my favorite artist, and then when he drops a song that is not good, I try to paint it as good for you. I don't do that. Right? If the song is bad, I'll tell you, this song maybe a 4 over 5, or maybe a 3 over 5. If these things and these things could have been done on this song, things could have been better. That way, you already look at it like, oh wow. So what you now do next is you now go out to listen to the song without me actually playing the song. And I've been able to do that now for like 5 years. And like I said, everybody already trusts my opinion when it comes to music and also what is called copyright. So I don't even worry about copyright anymore. As a matter of fact, right now, because I'm into music, I've also started creating my own music, my own sound for my own podcast.
Yes.
Right? I don't. Again, you mentioned copyright. Let me also put out something that people will be able to get to and understand. That's what I've been able to do with copyright issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm asking this question because I know that a lot of us as broadcasters, you don't have to worry about if it's not listening. Most radio stations, if you attach them to TV stations, they do the promotion already. But when you become a podcaster, you have to worry. And I will say that even right now, after done broadcasting for over 6 years, I'm still good. And you have to start from where you are from where you are when you start to become a podcaster. And when you're on radio, whether you're spending 1 minute there or you're spending 2 minutes there are people who love you for who you are. There are people who already connect with you. And when you now tell them, I have something that is exclusively me that is on it, trust me, they want to listen to that. The first people that listened to my podcast, as horrible as it sounds, was when I started, were the people who used to listen to me on the radio. So where have you been? And I'm like, I have a radio, I have a podcast. You can still get my voice one day. And now it's even more exciting for them because they can now listen to it all the time. So it's even an extra advantage for you because you as a broadcaster at a station which they already know you, they already like your voice. I have a lot of radio personalities that today they left the radio and I was like, oh my god. But if I know that I was still going to listen to their voice on radio, I might not have been as happy as I was, right? So you need to start from where you are. I'm sure right now as a radio broadcaster or TV broadcaster, you have social media handles. Start exactly from those social media handles. Start using those platforms to spread those messages. You have people on your WhatsApp. Put it out there. There's somebody out there who needs to listen. And you don't have to focus. I think that's the beauty of podcasting. You don't have to focus in local Nigeria or in local or in Africa.
Yeah.
I currently have people listening to my podcast from over 100 countries. I will never go to some of those countries. But that's because we continue to put those links out there. And it's as simple as it is. Just wake up, find yourself, put it on there, and just let it go wherever it's going to go. But you cannot hold yourself back because you don't know who's going to listen. There's always somebody that is ready to listen to what you have to offer. So start there.
All right. I would like you to begin to attend to the second question about challenges. And I would also like for you to emphasize on something. So we're not saying that you have to leave radio before you can start or own a podcast. You can do radio and do podcasts. I said earlier that I'm a radio presenter and I also have a podcast. It's the Climate, Environment and Biodiversity podcast. So I would like you to just round off on that in 1 minute so we can take on.
All right, quickly. Challenges are still the same. Challenge is time, your creativity, and monetization. The thing is, you have to start these things in order of priority. You can't come into the podcast space with monetization as your first desire. You will collapse. I'm telling you this. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years now. So, do not come in with the idea of monetizing. If you're coming in, so you're coming in as a radio station, because the way to make money, I'll address that too. So, challenge of course is time. And because again, some people who make the transition from radio to podcasting were doing really one thing as radio presenters. In podcasting, you discover that you're wearing different hats. You're producing your own show. You're editing your own show. you're writing your own show notes, you're writing show titles, you come into a space that begins to demand more from you than you might be ready for. On radio, you come on air, you post it on social media that I'm live, go now write the name of the song. You don't do that with podcasting. Podcasting, the easiest way to get discovered, of course, is via the text content inside your shows. How do people find your shows? You find your shows by searching. Where do you search? Google. Now people are using AI to search, so they're even adapting the way we write our show notes and titles. So there's a lot to learn, even in this space. But you can come from radio with the experience of what everybody else does in various departments and bring that skill into radio. Then we go into how radio stations can become big. I didn't leave radio because of visual. I hate visuals, but I have a theory that visual radio killed radio. I was a sort of presenter who played football for 15 minutes. And somebody would come to me and tell me that you do this report to me. And I will wash my face, pick up the report, move from the page straight into the studio and do a fantastic job. Our bosses will attest that. You can't do that with visual radio. Visual radio is doing able to come on radio. I'm going to worry about what I'm going to say. I'm going to worry about how I took it. For what? So my own, I wouldn't say I left them. I actually took a break to revise what I'm doing. So how are we talking about monetization of radio stations? 2 years ago, a Kenyan company approached me, Afripods. You can search for it, FRIPOPS.com. I left them early last year. We were working on a specific project called broadcast performance. The CEOs and CEO are both Americans residing in Kenya. The CEO has Ghanaian origins. They were building a broadcast platform, but in their minds, they thought that the fastest way to grow the platform was to engage radio stations. Now, the CEO had already done this in America. It was pure. Magnificent. I think it's the same. So the development team based in Sweden built a feature in the podcast hosting platform that allows radio stations extract content from their live streams without leaving their Afripods dashboard. Meaning that if you're streaming live as a radio station, all you have to do was input that you're live into the dashboard. You test it, you press play, it's play. You pick a time slot or a schedule on the dashboard to pick a portion of the radio content you want to record. What I'm saying is, if you have 10 great segments round the clock in a day or 5 days, you could schedule those recordings to record automatically. There was basically often double steroids. Now, all your producer was really going to have to do was extract the audio, take out the commercials, and publish it as a podcast. As I said, when we started speaking to radio stations, we discovered that most of the radio stations that had content had polling shows. We didn't have content. A lot of content that was really good was coming from independent producers. Yeah. So many radio stations were more content with selling slots and time than actually creating content. Now, I want to play the questions. Oh yeah, back to the monetization. Yeah. So the plan is this. Afripods has an arrangement with an advertising, podcast advertising service. Now, the interesting thing is in Nigeria now we're beginning to have digital advertising platforms that can also offer this as a service. Only last week, a colleague of mine in advertising called me and was like, Baba, you give this to podcasters because my clients also advertising podcasts. And I was shocked. I've been trying to build this for years. But it showed that there was interest, it was coming. So what Afripods was doing with radio stations was this. You bring your content, you bring your brand, we give you limitless database to use. One of the advantages was we don't care if you're bringing terrestrial adverts into our stream. In fact, we encourage you to. And how would you do this? Go and upsell the availability of your slots and podcast. Coca-Cola is buying like 5-10 slots of radio. Tell them that you can have 60 seconds, 1 minute, 90 seconds, but we fully immersed, post-credit act. So Coca-Cola will be for that. So now they have that option. You can actually sell to clients. There are digital advertising platforms available in Nigeria that can advise you on whether or not you can place advertising contests. The APPA is Africa's largest repository of content creators who work in audio, poets, spoken voice artists, and podcasters. We've been doing this now for close to 4 years, and we're big. We're quiet, but we're big. So if you're looking for database, you can have a conversation with us, our community manager is here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the panel session. Please appreciate our panelists, Tony Roll, T-Ford, Mr. Lomba, and Rafiat. My name is Loiza, and it's been a pleasure of being the moderator of this panel session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please take a group picture before you go. Group picture, please. Alright, let's appreciate them one more time. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Now we're going for lunch break. Can I please beg that we do this within 30 minutes if possible? Can we? Alright, so let's go for lunch and then we'll see about 15 minutes past